I'm sure a lot of you have heard the expression opposites attract. And here is something I did with in my own kitchen, alone late one night. I was wearing clothes, but I had a pair of scissors, always a safe combination there, and I got a soap sponge, and all I did is snip this down into this kind of approximately looks like a square, I guess, and someone can examine that if they want. Now, along with the square, we're also going to use this shot glass, okay? We're going to use it in just a second. Now, the opposite of a square, of course, is a circle. So hopefully, if the opposites attract, the square should be able to, yes, even though it was just examined, they can see now the square attracted kind of a circle, a really rough cut. Looks like someone late at night wearing clothes with a pair of scissors may have cut that, like that. I say, look, if it's true, though, that opposites really attract, it should work even if you, and I say go ahead, randomly choose one, and let's say they choose the circle. I say, watch, going, gone. The circle and the square are now together, proving that opposites attract. I say, look, let's try it again. I'm going to hit them like this, and I say, you know what that does? And they say, I have no idea. And it says, actually, it does nothing, but I do get a big kick out of it. I say, look again, watch, going, opposites attract. And again, they can see the impossible happened. Now, here in the studio, if I had someone hold out their hand, I could do this last part in their hand. But for now, we'll do the shot glass. And I say, go ahead. Tell you what, you hold on to one very tightly, okay? I'm going to see if I can make this going, and gone. The last one, just like that. They find inside the shot glass. Though, like I said, it could be inside their hand. Proving, without a doubt, that opposites really do attract. I have been wanting to share my thoughts on this classic trick with you guys for a long time, and I'm glad I'm finally getting around to doing it. This is sponge balls, or sponge bunnies, or sponge, whatever you want to call it, sponge. And it's got a lot going for it, but I'm here to tell. I even produced my own for many years, what I called sponge earplugs. And I gotta say, I did it for, 5 or 6 or 7 years, and then I slowly found myself going back to my very original handling I used, literally when I was a teenager. And so let me tell you some of the virtues and some of the thinking around this. First off, you can go to a store and you can buy, magic stores, buy these red circles that look exactly like clown noses. Yep, clown noses. And if you take your magic seriously like I do, and you like to be playful and have fun and jokey, but you want the magic to at least come across as dramatic and mature and serious and cool, I suggest you think twice about getting props that look exactly like clown noses. The other reason with the red is they roll. And anybody, you know what I'm talking about. Any professional or amateur magicians out there who handle sponge balls, they roll. In the wind, you put them on tables, they roll. I've done this in bars and clubs and on people's hands and in the street and all over the world. And I am here to tell you a flat base. This is one of the things I loved about my earplugs originally. Something with a flat base that sits on the darn table or sits on someone's hand and doesn't roll off is so much better, okay? So all I've done is, my advice to you. Now, the nice thing I did like about the earplugs was they are bright yellow, high visibility, much higher visibility than dark red in a bar, okay? So again, the red sponges, I don't know, if they suit you and you're comfortable with them, go for them. If not, my advice to you, get a yellow sponge, a big chunky yellow sponge at the dollar store, right? Get out a pair of scissors and have some fun. Just cut these, and do not get caught up in cutting them so they look absolutely perfect. It's much more charming, and here's the other thing. You do these reds, if they're not sponge clown noses, what are they? They're kind of weird, they're suspicious. Are they tricky? Are they tricky? These are not tricky. This is obviously cut from ordinary household kitchen sponge. So it makes the trick that much more credible, all right? And I think inherently funny, and opens up lines like, I cut these for myself. Yes, I'm such an artist. You didn't know I was a sculptor. A sculptor didn't know I was a sculptor. A sculptor, all that stuff. So this is the way to go. It costs you nothing too. Cut a circle. Again, flat on the bottom, flat on the top, but kind of circle and rough around, okay? Square, flat in the bottom, approximately the same size, okay? Now, sponge magic. The cool thing about sponge magic is the size difference between when it's crunched small and when it's big. Coins are cool, cards are cool. There's something very special about this. It's so visual. Okay? It's so ordinary, and it happens in someone's hands. That's really the moment. Try this just a couple of times. As soon as somebody opens their hands, I suggest you put a rubber sheet in the floor, because there's going to be a lot of soil hitting the ground. People freak out. They really do. Okay? So having got the props together, all you need is a primary vanish. Now, the sponge vanish I do is the same as pretty much every expert magician does. Okay? Just looks like this. Okay? Okay? If you're staring at here on YouTube, no misdirection, this and that, you might say, oh, it doesn't look absolutely perfect. Let me give you a couple of tips. First, I'm showing it between thumb and finger. Okay? Then I'm apparently putting the hand in. All I'm doing, let me show the exposed view here. All I'm doing is sort of pushing it with my thumb right into that spot. I'm pushing it into my fingers, okay? And I do that while the hand turns down. I push this right now. I'm pushing it. So the exposed view is here, and I push it right down here, okay? Then I close my left hand, and I don't close my left hand all tight, which really, if you put it in and you held it tight, this is how it would look. That would be realistic. But in magic, sometimes you have to exaggerate the real to make it look especially real. It's kind of weird, but it's almost like, I don't know what, wearing a false nose so people think you have a nose. I don't know, but anyway. You're here. So when I put it in my hand, I puff my hand up. This is something I learned when doing coin magic years ago. So I've got it, look at it, it's kind of puffed up. I don't have the fingertips flat. I have the fingertips touching the base of the thumb way up there, and I puff the whole thing. And that really, as opposed to this really sells that I have it in the hand, okay? So the right hand starts with finger and thumb. Push down with thumb into the curled fingers here, okay? Push it right down. Curl it, and the rest is timing. It's about relaxing. You won't get this in a day or two. You'll practice this. Mirror practice is great. Set up a mirror or something get your car up on those blocks that people use to steal the engine. Get it really propped up and polish the top of your car, and you could use that instead. That's the Vanish. I'm using my shoulders, and by shoulders I mean I'm sort of using my eyes to make sure that people can see where it's going. I'm sort of, all focus is here. Then when I do this, typically when I'm performing for people, this might drop to my side even, or into my lap, okay? Cool thing about sponges too is you can pretend to put it in a hand and lean forward, you can pretend to put it in a hand and lean forward to show people, and press your hand down. As long as you're leaning forward, it just looks like you're supporting your own body weight, okay? And at the same time, of course, it's hidden under the hand. So kind of cool about us, and no sound as well. No coins clink and cards would be too big. There's so many virtues to this. So that's the basic Vanish though. And so what do? Watch the structure. Took me for years. It used to be very complicated. This is what I do for real people. It's minimal, fast, bare bones, and very strong. Okay. Now I cheat a little bit here on YouTube because I had the shot glass out of the shot. Excuse the weird pun. I had the sponge sitting beside the shot glass out of the shot. So, because I knew you guys, you'd be burning my hands, I wanted to make sure that it looked like I had just a square here, and then I came here to get the shot glass, and of course that's when I palmed this, okay? In real performance, all I do, because in real performance, there's a lot more natural misdirection and fun going on, is I wouldn't necessarily use a shot glass. I would just reach into my pocket and take out the square. And I have this hidden circle in my hand, okay? This is the kind, do not sweat this, okay? Now again, I don't want my left hand to be wide open like this, because then the right hand will look suspicious. So I just do this in both, okay? And I say, opposite attract, here's a square, I cut it from a soap sponge, I know I'm pretty impressive, blah, 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 okay? Then I take this and I say, but if it's an opposite, the square should attract you. Show your hand absolutely empty, just crunch this, and you want to do this without any hesitancy, is you crunch it flat down and you immediately bend it, and you ball them up and you roll in a circle. So I'm moving in a circle the upper hand. You can do this on a table, on someone's hand, or on your own hand, and you put it right in someone's face. And when they see that second item come from the first after it was just examined, it's gorgeous magic. It doesn't need any words, okay? It's beautiful. So much less abstract, much more down to earth than finding someone's card or something like that. It's pure magic, okay? It's sort of an ancient tribal joy. I said it. So you make it production, hand them both up to be examined. People think that's the trick is over. Remember that in your tricks. With several phases, it's important, give each phase its due. Don't treat something like, okay, and now moving on, or this is just something I do on the way to this part. You treat it as that's the miracle, then this is the miracle, then that. Give each its due. It'll make your magic far more powerful, okay? So I've done that, they examine them both. Now I set them up by doing something that looks exactly like the fake move I'm going to do, but I make sure it looks the same, right? I say, but I know what you're thinking. If opposites really attract, whether it's the square or the circle, let's see if you can prove it. And so a couple of times, maybe once or twice, I legitimately put from right hand into left hand. Having done that, I then sort of, having set that up once or twice, I say, look, but does it really work? And that's when I do the fake. So I pretend to put either the square or the circle into my hand, hold it here, and immediately grab this, show that, and crunch that up. So you have perfect visual misdirection. every action makes sense and flows from one to the other, okay? But it will take some practice to do with flowing and with confidence. Crunch this up. And I say, go ahead, let's see this. Go ahead, point to one. Whichever one you do is the one we're going to use. Now, this is something I've used with Holy Moly and other tricks of mine. If they point to the one with a double, I'll say, great, this is the one we'll use. If they point to this one, I say, this is the one we'll use. The fact that this is vanished and it's here, or the fact that this is the one we'll use, let's see if we can do it, boom, and yep, there they are, and this is gone. So it just depends on which order you want to shoot. But the sense is, I could have chosen any one, and he did something amazing with it, okay? Lovely little detail really increases the impossibility, the perceived impossibility. So the first phase, I say, go ahead, choose one. They choose one, whatever. And I go, going, going. And I like this thumb action. Going, going, gone. This vision, because you can do this and this, but it's really nice to visualize the journey. Okay, from there to then show. Boom, gone. Let that register, then show two. It's two tricks, right? If you do this, it's one trick. If you do this, sponge is gone. That's cool. If it was in your pocket, it was cool. But if it's there, it is there. That's nuts. So two tricks. Treat them that way. Okay? So do it once. I say, let's try it again, just so we don't think it's a fluke. When I do this, now this is an old idea, this handling. It's very clever. Okay? Say, you know what, when I do this, you know what it does? And they go, I don't know. I said, it does nothing, but I love it. So it's just a silly gag. I guess it sort of suggests, I don't know, I guess it suggests boobs, a little bit of boob action on, I don't know, some sort of weird survivor of a surgical war gone wrong. I don't know. But anyway, so you know it does nothing but I get it. So you get that little joke, and that joke and the laugh misdirects from this next false transfer. And I say, well, it does nothing, but you know it does nothing, but I get a kick out of it. And as I say, get a kick. So you're here hitting the two, then you hit them with the back of your hand, okay, or I often just do the one. Here, here. Now note the optics on this. This is important. When I pretend to put this in my hand and close it, immediately this comes into view. And that kind of appearance is beautiful misdirection. And it really sells this. It's sort of this neat moment that really nails, it really nails the idea that this object went into that hand. Okay, so you do that, you do this, and immediately pick that up. And again, I've just done the false transfer. And I say, let's see if it happens, and it happens. And sometimes I push it down like this, but I do not put it in anybody's hand till the last and third and final phase. Magic rule of 3. I've talked about it before, and that goes boom. Last one. We'll use the shot glass here, but normally I'd use someone's hand. I say, look, I'm going to see how strong you are. Let's see how strong you are. I'm going to try to steal something. Are you pretty strong? And sometimes I'll give them my finger to squeeze. They think I'm going to do the old pull my finger gag. And what they don't realize is anytime I want to release a huge atom bomb fart during a show, I'll never give them fair warning with pull the finger, please. I'll simply say, 4 of clubs. So, we're here. Last phase. And I say, let's try it one last time. And again, I say, go ahead, point to one, whichever one you want. And if they point to the circle, then I pretend to do this. I do the false transfer with the square, pick up the circle, and give it to them. If they point to the square, I pick up the circle, do a false transfer, and give it to them. So what you want to work on here is being able to not so much go from this action to this crunch action, but to go from this to going right down on it and pick up both. Because you don't want to have that extra beat of fidgeting, okay? So it's here, right on it, and pick up both and jam them in someone's hand. Now, I said I'm going to try to steal something from you. I'm going to steal it. Have them give a big squeeze to my finger at one point. I act like it's really sore, okay? I was like, oh, that's enough. So the whole premise is I'm going to steal. I'm not going to give you something. I'm going to steal. I'm going to take. How strong are you? Can you stop me? Can you keep me away from taking it from you? That whole premise. So they're thinking all along that the two are going to end up in my hand. I'm going to steal it from you. So there's very little chance. If some people, though, what I'll sometimes do, and let's assume this is someone's hand, okay? I'll do this, give them both, and sometimes I'll do this gesture. I'm going to get it, and I sort of make this action towards their fist, and even the most annoying drunk person who is going to open their hand prematurely and be a jerk, if I do this kind of action, they really hold on to it. Other times I'll turn their hand over and say, put your other hand on top and hold on to that. Now they're holding it onto the table. So these are all ways to make sure they don't reveal the climax too soon. Nobody likes that. Here, I've done this, okay? One last tip for you, and then we'll close up this instructional video, but I really wanted to give you all my thinking on this. I think it's quite valuable, and I know real students of magic will care about these details. I usually don't just snap and show this empty. What I do is I do a false transfer to the other hand. Love doing that in my work. I've done it a few times. They've seen it. So at the end, when they're holding on, I say, let's see if I can do this. When I come over, pretend to scoop it, really emphasize this for a beat, not too long, but sort of like this. And I see how I do this, my focus is here, everything's here, but this is really wide in the peripheral, okay? So, but when you pretend to take it from the hand to here, it really sells the idea it was there until the last second. Much far harder for them to backtrack to when you did the actual secret load in, okay? So try that. Here, like this, going, like that. And when people open their hand, and those two suckers jump out, it's the kind of thing, again, I mean, it's just, this is a classic, this is SpongeBall magic, this is my lean, mean, practical commercial presentation. This took me probably 9 years of constant work in bars and clubs to get to it, to be this simple and effective. Please treat it with respect, like everything on this channel. I know I like to joke around, and I'm a bit of a clown and all that, but believe me, I have poured my life and my blood into this stuff. And I really hope it helps all of you guys have a blast with the beautiful art and science of magic.